Joe here. Didn't plan on doing a video today, but why not? Anyway, it's a Briggs Stratton 17.5 horsepower J1940, I think. I'll put it in the description if I'm wrong. So anyway, I was just cutting my grass and started backfiring, blowing a little bit of black smoke, strong fuel smell, and at first I did the right thing, the smart thing, and turned the throttle down and shut it off. That wasn't good enough for me though. I kept trying to start it, wouldn't start. Went for the air filter first. A lot of gas in it, super hot. It was only because it's hot out here, and it was running for a little while. So it was boiling. You could hear the gasoline just boiling inside the motor. And more or less I hydrolocked the motor. I'm hoping I didn't do any internal damage, but it stopped like as if the blade hit something. So I don't know, I may have harmed the internals or bent a rod or a valve, or never really had one apart. So pulled the spark plug out, pulled the carburetor off, and I mean, it had a lot of fuel in it. None of the oil, didn't make it past the rings that I could tell. I'm going to change the oil anyway, but apparently the culprit is this fuel shutoff solenoid. It's a little electric device on the bottom of the fuel bowl. And I don't know, I could hear it clicking when I put power to it, but that doesn't, just like the relay in your car for your headlights or anything else, just because it clicks doesn't mean it's working. So I'm going to assume this is the culprit. It just, the fuel was just dumping in it. You could hear it running and filling up like if you were filling a quart bottle with water. So a lot of fuel. Not going to light the candle today, even though I love the way those things smell. I don't care what anybody says, they smell great. That one's carrot cake, but I don't want to smell like burnt gasoline. So anyway, I don't know how readily available this part is, but we're gonna get it apart and get into it here, and see what makes it tick. That's not gonna work. Let me get some deep sockets. And zoom in. Little update on the F-250. Had to put a water pump timing chain cover, gasket, and seal on my daughter's Jeep. No point in doing any videos on that. I wish I did though, because inside there was a little timing chain snubber which was broken, and part was readily available. AutoZone had it to me the next day. I'm starting to become a fan of AutoZone. I always did Advanced Auto, but AutoZone's been doing me right. So anyway, I haven't worked on the truck in a while, at least a couple of weeks. Really the only thing to do is take the steering box off and paint under the hood now that it's warm enough here. It's 80 something today. Might take that steering box off later or tomorrow. I'm going to Tennessee on vacation come Sunday. It's a Pigeon Forge. Looks like a nice place. Alright. So here's basically the intake. Just like on a quad, it's plastic or phenolic, or but this, it's not rubber on the ends like usually an ATV. It's got O-rings. Oh, here's one here. And yeah, the fuel just would not shut off, so I don't know much about these. I don't have a book for it. I've had other Briggs & Stratton carbs apart. The screw that holds the bowl on was actually the main jet. And this doesn't look totally dissimilar from those. So, let's get it apart. No idea where I'm going to get this solenoid from. These are pretty common motors. It's on a Troy-Bilt lawn tractor. I don't know if I said that yet. I had a feeling I wasn't going to be able to snake a wrench in there, so I don't know, gear wrenches are thick. Let me go see if I can find something thinner. Lucked out. Well, these older Craftsman speed wrenches or whatever they were called. You can get it in there, but I don't know. It's not really meant for this type of fastener, so to speak. So yeah, that's not going to work. Might be grinding a wrench down before we're done. I don't have an adjustable that's that small. The only really thin wrench I have is this Cobalt 9/16, which I don't even know why I have it. Ah, this fits it. Alright. Came loose pretty easy. So there it is. It's just a little spring-loaded solenoid with a copper ring on it, sealing ring, and it's kind of loose in there. But again, I could hear it ticking. It's normally closed. I don't really see what the heck else could be wrong with it. Unless maybe the float's bad. Probably just get into this thing and get a kit for it. It's possible. Like I said, I heard this when I put power to it. I heard it ticking. But I'll see how much it is. If I'm going to run the risk of hydrolocking my motor, hydrolocking it, I'm going to definitely just buy the part if it's not expensive. Again, it could be the float, but maybe that's what it is. Get this apart and have a little look-see at the pin. I don't know why. Well, I shouldn't say. I don't know why it would go all of a sudden, but I've got to say that it wasn't exactly running. It was running pretty good. I gave it a tune-up naturally. Every year I change the oil and put a plug in it and a fuel filter, and I always use ethanol treatment in all my small engines. Fuel or gas. These pins never come out easy. You can't imagine this one's going to be any different. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just get a kit for this carburetor, and hopefully I didn't damage the motor. I'm not about to pull it apart to find out. If it needs a motor, then it needs this done anyway, so. I don't necessarily want to lean on it that much. It came out fairly easy, so we're in business here. I don't know, that looks like it's in pretty good shape to me. Doesn't look to be worn at all. It's a little beat up. It's the only way to really test that solenoid is to go out to the... I don't know what this is. It's got like a shiny surface on there. Is it a magnet? No. Whatever it is, it's chrome plated. It's coming off. This is really the only thing that controls the fuel is the float in this solenoid, and this was referred to, I believe it was referred to as a shutoff solenoid. I checked the internet real quick. The part I found didn't exactly look like this, but that was just a quick idea I got, kind of catalog educating myself while I was sitting there trying to figure out why this happened. So, I don't know. Really doesn't look that, it doesn't look that bad to me. Maybe there's a little wear on it, but I'm going to hook this back up to the lawnmower. I guess I could just put 12 volts to it here and see what happens. Let me set that up. Now I got the battery from my truck. I'm just going to put 12 volts to it. So when the power's put to it, it's supposed to shut the fuel off, which obviously that's what was going on. I don't understand why it's not working. I mean, it seems like it would have enough, just for a gravity-fed carburetor, to, seems like it would have enough to shut it off. Now, I did disconnect the power from it, and that may have been why it filled up. So I might just stick this back together and see, maybe it was just a little gummed up or something like that. It's got a lot of movement, so I mean, it just goes in there like that. And clean this thing out and blow some air through it and see how it goes. Alright, got it all back together. It's a little windy, so I apologize. Anyways, this is the lawnmower, the motor. Fire it up, see how she does. That's it, success. So if you have that problem, take it apart and clean it up. I think I'm going to get a rebuild kit for it anyway. See how much that solenoid is. I still didn't look it up, but back to cutting grass.